Welcome, beautiful souls. Thank you for choosing I Transmute, where we listen to understand, where we learn to grow, and where we glow from the inside out. You could have been anywhere else, but you chose to be here today. And for that, I am extremely grateful. So today, we're going to get into Sacred Reset. And Sacred Reset is for my women who deal with an anxiety or deal with pressure or just deal with constant overthinking and being overwhelmed and are just having a hard time gaining clarity through their days to be able to continue on and to be able to gain clarity for those next steps and where we need to be in life. I remember when I first started to experience anxiety, it was after a death of a family member. And through that grief, I discovered a lot of things that my body had been storing for a very long time that I suppressed. And I was confused. I didn't understand why I had been here or why I'm back here. I thought I had went through and healed some of those certain things, but my body told me differently. I would gain anxiety. I would start to overthink. I gained PTSD from domestic violent relationships. I never really seek the proper help or counsel at first to really be able to heal me from the inside out. So I did surface level healing to where I did a lot of isolation, but I didn't do work as far as releasing it from the body and really understanding exactly where that trauma stores. So I wanted to offer this to my women who are just having a very hard time navigating and coming up out of those thoughts, coming up out of those fears, coming up out of those doubts, coming up out of those trauma instances where we have to go back and revisit but not relive, right? So these are some extremely important tools today in the Sacred Reset sessions that I'll be offering women. And I'll be doing this once a month and putting it on I Transmute right here. So you guys can have a better way to see how to really do the work from within the body. Because it truly, truly takes us doing the work, getting healthy, truly understanding who we are, what we need to receive, quieting down the mind so we can understand and hear exactly who we are and quieting the noise. So, thank you for being here, and we'll get started. And we'll just kind of start with closing the eyes, and then we'll start with some breath work. We're going to do the 4-7-8 exercise. It's where we inhale through the nose for 4 seconds. We hold our breath for 7 seconds, and then we exhale for 8 seconds. And this breathing exercise really helps with calming the mind, bringing you back to your present moment. And it's really good for a lot of women who suffer with anxiety. It's a nervous system reset to where it brings you to that peace. And so we'll go ahead and get started. And I want you guys to get comfortable. And I know sometimes if you're just starting this, it's really hard to kind of loosen the body. But just imagine that no one's there. It's just you and your place of peace where you're wanting to navigate. Area, 1 second, please. So we'll go ahead and get started. And you guys can do this in a dark place or light place. But for camera purposes, I'm going to do it in a light place so you can see everything. And also, a disclaimer, I want you guys to know that for beginners, if you are feeling lightheaded or you're feeling short of breath, please stop. Don't continue to do those extra holds with your deep breath. You want to make sure that it's flowing. You want to make sure that it's comfortable. You want to make sure that you're taking your time. And you want to go through at least what safe is 4 to 8 cycles of the 4-7-8 breathing technique, which is safe. That's probably about 2 to 3 minutes, if that. And you want to go slow. It's really a nervous reset to help you rewire the nervous system and to calm the body and the mind. So we'll go ahead and get started here. I want you guys to begin by closing your eyes. And I know sometimes at first it could be a little uncomfortable to get comfortable, but just keep at it and it'll naturally begin to flow. And just kind of take you a couple deep breaths in and release. Set your intentions. What are you looking to gain from this? Is it clarity? Is it knowledge? Is it just stillness? And breathe in and let it go. Get comfortable and picture yourself in the most peaceful, beautiful place. Whether it's trees, whether it's water, whether it's the laughter of children, imagine your peace place. As you drift away, you'll feel your body start to get heavier and heavier. One more deep breath and release. Let's begin. In through the nose. Now hold. And release. And when you're ready, again, and out. And release. Again. In through the nose. Release your hold. A couple more of these to honor the time. and release. And last time. And you may gently open your eyes. Pay attention to the body. You can roll your arms back, drop them. In this moment, I want you to ask yourself, what do I see? What do I hear? And what do I feel? Are you feeling at peace? Are you feeling like you hadn't quite gotten there yet? Are you feeling clarity? Whatever intent you set for today, whether it was just to acknowledge your time and just sit in the stillness, acknowledge that. One more deep breath in and let it go. Ooh. You know, after we take that moment of deep breath, I just automatically feel, and it's been a couple days because I've been on the run, I'm not gonna lie, but I automatically feel just the weight just kind of release. I kind of feel clear headed to where, okay, what's next? To where now I can focus on those next things. A lot of times when we live in the fast world and we're always moving at a fast pace, we don't give ourselves that time and stillness to really focus on our soul's purpose and who we truly are. So these moments of deep breath is how we really get to us in the core. And whatever thoughts come, let them come. But this is your moment to be able to acknowledge those thoughts. And then we begin to cultivate the power on how to sort it. Who are we? What do we want to cultivate? What's next for us? And we lead with that. Next, we're going to go into giving you guys a couple journaling prompts. And I kind of did that as we were going through the deep breathwork meditation. I was kind of asking you, what do you see? What do you hear? What do you feel? Imagine yourself in a peaceful place. Where do you see yourself in a peaceful place? Where do you see yourself 5 years from now? What is the initial goal of you wanting to start this healing journey? Is it to find your core purpose? Is it to gather? It's a fellowship? Be clear on your intentions and who you are. Never let anybody dictate that. That moment of calm and stillness is for you to purify. You want to invite in those positive things and you want to be able to release those things that no longer serve you, making room for all of the beautiful things that are lined in front of you. So, yes, these things work. They help us to release what's stored in the body, the stress, the things that automatically activate the brain. And what's the brain doing? The brain is just trying to survive, which is its number one main goal. So we have to remember that we hold the power in how we set apart these different tools of healing. So we'll go into the next portion, you guys, and we'll talk about journaling prompts. Use those moments. And I know journaling, it sounds so cliche, and it was something for me too when I first started to really get on my journey. What is this? How is this going to help me? But I'm telling you, when I started to journal, emotion, look at me trying to get ahead of myself. When I started to journal my emotions, how I felt, how they were coming, what came before, what came after. I was able to get a grasp on the situation and the environment and be able to navigate, oh, this is what this is. But I have the tools. Let me go to my shed and pull one out and see how I can use this effectively to cultivate peace, love, unity, and true purpose and authenticity, right? So journaling helps you to discover you. I remember watching Medea, Diary of a Mad Black Woman, and when she was journaling and she was kind of going through the things, what the man did and putting her out, she was kind of just discovering new things about herself. And she said, oh, I'm finding myself. And right there, that clicked to me like, oh, this is a part of the work that you have to do to kind of discover who you are. It's a part of that stillness. So, yes, you want to be able to acknowledge that. So, I'm going to leave you with a journaling prompt. Let's see. Hmm. Imagine who you were before the pain. Did you notice yourself in survival mode? Or were you living? That's one. Just hone in on just that. You don't need to come up with a multiple of things. Whatever thoughts come to your mind, that's what you focus on. That's your clarity. Those are your downloads, that guidance, that inner you that's coming out and saying, okay, now it's time. So just a little journaling prompt to kind of help you get and restore their mind, body, and soul. Next, we're going to get into, let me close these things up. Let's just kind of talk and we'll kind of turn this music down. Because a lot of times we don't just talk and express ourselves and acknowledge how important stillness is. And let me just kind of talk about my journey a little bit. You know, a young girl who went through a lot of traumatic things early, as far as early childhood SA and overcoming a couple of domestic violent relationships, overcoming losing a parent at an early age, overcoming having a parent overcome addiction and you know just battling the soul and the spirit, and just wanting to be heard and seen right, uh, battling all of those things. Really, I wanted to be pure. I wanted to do the right thing. But inside of my heart, sometimes I would feel like, why me? Why is this happening to me? And it would make me act out and cope in ways that were unhealthy, whether it be developing my cigarette smoking habit. And thank God I've been clean 5 years now, free. Or picking up smoking marijuana, or picking up excessively cleaning, or excessively overworking to get my mind off of thinking about the grief and the loss. I would, 9 times out of 10, most of the time when my father passed away, to get my mind off of him and him being absent, I would get up and start organizing things, or I would clean up, or I would go and annoy people, you know, to be playful to kind of get my mind off of those things. And you know, as a child going through those type of traumatic experiences, as far as that type of loss with your father that early, it's very traumatic. And not only that, having a mother not present, you know, being here but not being present was also hard for me. So I isolated, I hid, I thought I could deal with my problems myself. I thought that I was a burden. I thought that if I talked about these things with other people, that they wouldn't accept me. They wouldn't see things the way I seen things. And they would continue to judge me. You know, I had a lot of issues with really speaking up for myself and really acknowledging the strength that I had overcame then. It was just like a fast pace for me. And I think about that song, India. Slow down, baby, you're going too fast. You got your hands in the air with your feet on the gas. And that's what I was doing. I was making impulsive decisions just off of my emotions and what I had been going through. And I wasn't taking that time and you know, creating that safe space to be able to think and, you know, create that path for me to be able to heal completely and fully. I would hop from relationship to relationship. I would sabotage my healthy girlfriend relationships because I never was taught how to have a healthy relationship with a woman and really not be a competition. So, stepping into that, I sabotaged a lot of those relationships. So, after I went through that, I discovered it wasn't so bad, because I really did a lot of soul and deep diving as far as who am I? Why am I going through this? But I did it in isolation. I did it alone, so I thought. There's always God there helping you, guiding you along the way, even when you feel like you're alone. You got your ancestors guiding you and giving you those clues of what they did and what they didn't do to help you kind of navigate your way through there. And then you have God with his hands on you, making sure he crosses all those oceans so that you don't drown, even in those obstacles where we're full and we're just making leaps and not calculated leaps. And not to say that a fool is a bad thing because that's how we learn. But once we learn to learn how to make those calculated steps, right? So I was going through that, you guys. So I understand that. But I wasn't doing the work as far as healing. I wasn't putting that time and investing in me. I wasn't filling myself up with the things that I truly love to do. My singing went out the window. My writing music went out the window. My love for school went out the window. My love for family, it went out the window. And I didn't realize all of these things until my cousin passed, 2021 February. And I had just like a really big depression and a lot of full circle moments. And this was when God called me to open Harmony Corner. And this is when I accepted my assignment. And I said, you know what? I'm no longer going to sit in silence. Everything that I overcame, I'm going to speak up about it. And I'm going to talk about it because I didn't want anybody to suffer what my cousin went through. And I was so mad at her because she didn't share that experience with me. And I shared a lot of my experiences with her through that. So it really took me for a loop how things played out. But understanding that it was her journey, and I actually had a dream one time where she came in my dream and said, in her, human form, "Hey, what's up, cuz? I just want you to know I love you. Thank you for being my sister. And that wasn't your battle. That was my battle, my journey." And with that, I think the next day, I just kind of woke up with a certain type of peace on my heart. And that let me know that, everybody has their own journeys. God gives us our own battles. And it's up to us to have their free will and make that choice to choose how we want to come up out of it. And this time, God was calling me, and I answered. But this time, when I answered, I went through some very, very, very dark things. I had to deal with my childhood essay. I had to deal with my domestic violence and why I allowed that. And how could a woman who gave so much love not be able to give it to herself? So this is when I start to really hone in on, oh, people pleasing. And it's not love, it's fear. Thank you, Tony Jones. It's not love, it's fear. And I really honed in on it like, oh, this is what it was that kept me from going to follow my dreams. But I can do this because I've done it for so many other people. So how can I cultivate a new environment to where I can get those things back and get it for me? And I dealt with a lot of guilt. I dealt with a lot of shame. Um, and a lot of just, why did I allow this? Or how come I couldn't see this? But through this, I also had to learn how to give myself that grace. Like, hey, you learned it and you're here now. And you didn't go through this for just no reason. So let this just be a tool to continue to guide you onto those next steps. And that's what I did, you guys. Every day, every tear, every day that I didn't want to wake up and deal with my children, every day that I got discouraged with working, and you know me, I don't miss a job. I don't miss no money. I was going through postpartum really bad because I had just had my daughter in 2020. And I don't even remember establishing a relationship with her until after I came out of depression. I have to say that my husband was spectacular in stepping in and really giving me that space to completely fall apart. I never had that. I never had the space to completely fall apart except for with my stepmother, which was another situation where I kind of sabotaged with my insubordinates and my hurt, because hurt people. And we're great now. We have a wonderful relationship where we talk about things and we're able to kind of go back and reflect on some things. And she's really been a great pillar in my healing journey. And we all need that. And I encourage everybody to go back, and if you have that supportive person or elder that guided you, to go back and revisit. And I know in some instances we can't always go back and revisit some of those elders because they're still in the journey, right? But if you get the chance to, it does give you a sense of peace, grace, transparency. And a lot of the things that I experienced, I didn't even start going through until I had my own children, to where I could understand the pain that she felt with raising me. A child that wasn't even her own, but she took it under her own wing. So I like to talk about that story a lot. And, as you follow me and we get into this journey, we have more of these resets, more of these stories will come out. And I think that's part of the healing. We're unpeeling like an onion, it's layers and layers. And just to give ourselves that grace, because depending on how traumatic that trauma is, we don't know how long we're going to have to heal through it, especially if we've been just crossing over. Because the saying, the only way out is through. So, really taking that hard way, but knowing that that hard way is going to bring roses and flowers and just peace and love, no matter how that looks for you. So, yes, these sacred reset sessions are really just to kind of get in a meditative state and set those intentions on who we are, what we're all about, and what we're envisioning for our future, to release those things within the body and give ourselves that time that we never give ourselves time for, to sit down. And I talk about this in one of my trauma recovery pamphlets that I put out at the very beginning of my journey, the 3-step trauma recovery guide. And one of the first steps is to sit, find a safe place. And you guys can pick that up at my PayHip website, and I'll make sure that I put the links and everything below. And it is absolutely free for you to kind of step in and just get those basic steps. Because when I was coming out of trauma and coming out of that environment straight from the hood, I didn't have that guidance, and I didn't see until I came out of that environment. So we don't know until we experience that environment, which is why, I don't want to get into, slavery and, being condemned and, all of those type of things, and how the environments we're in, and how they can determine how long we're going to live by our zip codes and area codes, because they know that they set that environment up that way. But I want to let you know truly and give you the courage, wherever you are, you can cultivate and alchemize your own spaces. And that's what matters. It comes with the turbulence. Healing is not pretty. I'm not going to say healthy, because it is healthy. Healing is not pretty. But at the end of the day, it has to release and come out somewhere. And a lot of times we look at people's anger and hurt as, oh, I just can't stand them. But that's a secondary emotion. What's it coming from? What they lose? Who they lose? Was it them? Was it their self? Was it their parents? Was it their security? Was it just the upbringing? I know for me, I really didn't get to experience a childhood like I wanted to, because of all the grief and all of the pain. But now I'm here, and I'm able to go back and acknowledge that child and love on her, and just, and just give myself that love and acknowledge my strength. And that's something that's key, you guys. So I want to leave you guys today with just knowing this. Set your intentions. We've been filling ourselves up so long with what the world thinks and what people think. What do you think? Most importantly, what does God think? And then let what people think usher in, because that's the least important. It does matter, because attitude controls altitude. We don't want to just be nasty people. We want to make people feel good, because that's important too. People remember how you make them feel more than what you give them. How she make me feel. How he make me feel in that space when I really needed somebody. Or did they just hand me things off to get me out of their space? Or did they really hear and see me? And those were a lot of times what I was looking for as a child. Do they really hear and see me? Or are they just giving me off and passing me through? I'm human, and you're human too. So thank you for coming in this space. And we'll put on a little bit of music too on our way out. And just vibing with me, and, hearing my stories and getting these tools of breath work. So yes, use that. Do it 2 times a day, whether it be morning or night. And disclaimer, If you guys are having a hard time breathing or short of breath, because breathing is supposed to flow, but it doesn't, right? And you learn that once you start to kind of get into yoga and meditation, like, oh, I'm really not as healthy and the body's really not as good and flowing like it's supposed to. And that's kind of how I got into chakras and releasing and really working the body. But you really want to cultivate who you are. And I tell a lot of people in my coaching sessions, I ask, is it okay if I give you my experience? Because you don't have to take it. I want to meet you exactly where you're at so you can cultivate your own experiences. We don't want a whole bunch of Denises running around here. We want our own authentic people. We lead, but we don't attach. We guide, but we do not make them convert. We let God come in and speak to them. Whatever they believe in, whatever their higher power is, I believe in God. I believe in the Most High God. Nobody can tell me nothing about Jesus. Jesus made me, spirituality saved me. So we have to let people cultivate who they are and let them heal on their journey and just support, love, and uplift. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I guess my music gonna act funny for joining me today in Harmony Corner. I transmute. All of those things are beneficial and crucial to just this journey. This is a place where we listen to understand. This is a place where we learn to grow and where we glow from the inside out. And if you like this content, you want to hear more, you want to get more into these sacred reset sessions, because we will be doing more. We'll be having special guests coming and sharing their tools of healing. I'll be getting on here once a month by myself, continuing to encourage you guys to stay on y'all journey. You know what I mean? So, we're going to make healing popular again. We're going to raise the vibrations. We're going to put that love out there. We're going to lead with love. We're going to lead with that unconditional love. If people want to go their way, let them go their way, but let them know I love you. That's your way, and I hope you find it, but I'm going to do it this way. Okay? Love and light.